In this time-lapse video, I'm going to be adding a snake wrapping around the face of this portrait in order to add a surrealist style into the composition. When you go to add the surrealist style into your composition, think about if you want to have your portrait completely filled in and shaded like I do in this image, or if you'd prefer to add the surrealist style as you go and then shade the portrait and your object at the same time. The benefit of doing it this way is that you already have all of the value blacked in, so now you just simply need to add the additional object. So I'm just quickly erasing out where this snake is going to wrap on top. And I already had all of the shading filled in perfectly, so everything fits and it blends together smoothly versus trying to shade the portrait and facial features around the snake outline. As I'm putting this together, I need to make sure that the snake fits into the composition. So I'm working on creating a shadow and matching the lighting that my portrait had with the snake. So I'm shading underneath the snake here to add that little bit of a shadow to make it really fit into the composition and the scene that it's in. So think about your object, whatever you have and you're adding, and where the light source and shadow would be. So try your best to really picture that as you're putting it together. And I'm just continuing to build my layers, shade this in, trying to make it look like it's actually wrapping around the face by making the highlights on areas that stick out a little bit more, such as the nose, where I have the snake on top of the nose, is a little bit lighter and has more of a highlight to it. On my computer, I have a picture of a snake pulled up that's wrapped around a tree so that I can reference the lighting and detail to make this as accurate as possible. With the surrealist style, remember that everything is very detailed and realistic in order to capture that dreamlike composition. So at this point, I'm just continuing to make sure that the snake fits in with the portrait. I was layering details, adding that shadow around the outside, looking at areas of highlight where it's going to stick out the furthest. As you're putting yours together, think about the background as well. Are you going to have a detailed background where your portrait is in some sort of landscape? Do you have room for it in your composition? Do you plan to add color or some sort of collage into your composition? Colored pencil would be a great route to go where you can just add a light pop of color. Maybe on top of the snake, I could add some orange or yellow into it. But I'm just doing a light vignette in the background, which means darker on the outside, fading into a lighter value as I get closer to the portrait. So here's the finished result where I have the snake wrapped around the face. Continue to think about how you can take your project to the next level and push it further. So again, that could be through the background, adding pops of color and detail. Maybe I could then add some vines wrapping around the face or parts of the hair as well. So keep pushing yourself if you finish your portrait early, especially how can you make things and take things to the next level.